So, back now to the man of the day, George Galloway, referred to often disparagingly as Gorgeous George. He's no stranger to the headlines, whether for pulling off sensational election victories, as in Bethnal Green 2005, or for meeting controversial world leaders, like Saddam Hussein in 1994. But as Paraic O'Brien reports, he's also attracted some less predictable publicity.
Now, would you like me to be the cat?
Yes, please.
Cats have 9 lives. George Galloway makes cats look positively mortal.
Good girl. Good girl. Now look, you've still got cream all over your whiskers.
Hello there, George Galloway.
His political life started as chairman of Labour in Scotland. 6 years later, he was in the House of Commons. He faced an almost immediate scandal. When asked about a sexual liaison during a trip to Greece, he said,
"I travelled and spent lots of time with people in Greece, many of whom were women, some of whom were known carnally to me."
The indiscretion of which I have confessed, which is the only one that there is to confess, is in the past, it's behind me, and I hope people will recognise that.
They did. He swerved the scandal, but the nickname Gorgeous George stuck. In 1987, he faced inquiries over his financial stewardship of the charity War on Want, but was subsequently exonerated. He never seemed to aim for high office in Westminster, always more interested in either the very local...
Madness. You want to go to jail? They're the lawbreakers inside the base.
...or the very global. In 1994, he ended an address to Saddam Hussein with this.
Sir, I salute your courage, your strength, your indefatigability.
And got in more hot water. He insisted he was talking about the Iraqi people. The Labour Party's indefatigability ran out in 2003. He was expelled after saying that Tony Blair and George Bush were acting like wolves in invading Iraq. After his expulsion, he became the figurehead of a small anti-war party, Respect, and the political mainstream waved goodbye to Gorgeous George, until, that is, a few months later.
This is for Iraq.
In 2005, he ousted Labour MP Una King in East London. At a hearing in Washington, US senators didn't know what hit them.
Senator, this is the mother of all smokescreens. You are trying to divert attention from the crimes that you supported. Now, you have nothing on me, Senator.
It was thought that the cat had finally run out of political lives in 2010, when he lost in Popular and Limehouse during the general election. You could say that the road to victory for George Galloway in Bradford West started here. On the night of the election back in 2010, when Respect and Galloway lost a seat, they retrenched to this curry house in Brick Lane in East London. The chattering classes don't like George Galloway. According to some, though, the secret of his survival is that ordinary people do.
George is a very friendly person, very loving. He's always smiling. He's always approachable.
It's extremely concerning. It's extremely concerning that Galloway was able to unite so many people out of fear and out of division and win such a large victory. The reasons for that probably have less to do with racial politics or even religious politics and much more to do with appealing to the concerns of those minorities and groups that are very similar to the concerns of a lot of white working class people in this country.
Whatever you feel about him, in a world where people complain of bland, homogenised politics, George Galloway is political vindaloo.
Well, earlier I spoke to Mr Galloway and his victory was indeed resounding. But I asked him whether he was getting just a tiny bit carried away, describing the result as the most sensational upset in by-election history.
No, I don't think I was exaggerating. If you'll forgive me, I'm a bit of a student of these matters. No party to the left of Labour has ever taken a Labour seat in a period when Labour has been in opposition. And by the way, after the mother of all bad weeks for the government, the condemned Liberal coalition. So I think it was the most sensational, but
we won't get hung up on this point, but there were bigger swings in 1983 and I think 1967.
You obviously didn't hear what I said. It's understandable. I'm in the street. I'm not talking about the swing. I'm talking about a party to the left of Labour seizing a seat from Labour whilst Labour is in opposition and after a very bad week for the government.
Right, you're
I can
defining
assure
your terms very
is
clearly and quite
unprecedented.
narrowly, but within those terms, a sensational victory, what do you put it down to?
I don't know why you're being so churlish about this. I know more about left-wing history than you do, I assure you. But anyway, I put it down to a tidal wave of alienation in the country, and not just in Bradford, against the Tweedledee, Tweedledum politics of the major parties. If a backside could have three cheeks, they would be the three cheeks of that backside. People want something different. They want leaders that they can believe. They want leaders who say the same thing wherever they are and whenever they say it, whether before an election or afterwards. And I think we saw what I described last night as a Bradford Spring moment, a kind of uprising, a peaceful, democratic uprising of especially young people.
Isn't it slightly presumptuous or even arrogant, though, to compare a by-election victory with a revolution that has claimed tens of thousands of lives across the Arab world?
Well, I can see you and I are not getting on very well, and probably that's a sign that I should go and do one of the many other interviews that are waiting for me. You obviously weren't listening, or you're not hearing me. I said
I'm hearing you perfectly
democratic, a peaceful democratic uprising, a peaceful democratic uprising. That's what I think it was. You evidently don't. We'll see if it comes to anything. Thanks very much, because I really do have a lot of very important interviews to do. Thank you.
George Galloway.